Welcome to Supplier Spot Spotlight, the podcast where we shine a light on the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Join us as we chat with suppliers, park owners, and staff, uncovering insights, strategies, and stories that will elevate your outdoor experience. Get ready for inspiration and innovation in every episode.
Hey everybody, Bobby here again with Supplier Spotlight Vodcast, and I'm here with Ravi, and I did it again. I forgot to ask how to say your last name before I started recording. How do you say your last name, Ravi?
Parikh.
Parikh. Okay, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to mess it up. So I do that every time, and I just get so excited to start recording, I forget to ask how to pronounce the name. So Ravi Parikh, and he's here with RoverPass, and what's your position with RoverPass?
I'm a board of directors and founder.
Great. Oh, so one of the founders of RoverPass. So see, already I learned something new. I had no idea that you're one of the founders. That's awesome. So cool. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about RoverPass here on this podcast a little bit here in a few minutes. But of course, we talked about Supplier Spot before we started recording. And what are your thoughts about Supplier Spot after I gave you a little background behind it?
I think it's a great idea for the market, especially for new owners that are kind of joining into the market and need some guidance on where to get all their products and which vendors to work with. I mean, even before they have the campground, like which architects to work with, which engineers to work with. So I think there's a big need, and kudos to you for working to fill that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's great that you said that too, because I've talked to a few campground owners where they're like, especially at the glamping show, I know you weren't there, but Michelle was there, and I got to talk to her a little bit. The glamping show, a lot of those owners are new, meaning they just have a piece of land. And trying to figure out how can we make this work, and they come to the glamping show to figure that out. And so it's great. And then they ask me, do you know like any consultants or any financial advisors or anybody like that? So that's why I'm always like, yes, go to Supplier Spot and type in financial or type in consultant. And that's my goal behind this. And it's still a baby. I just launched it in March, so I'm hoping it'll get built up to be one of the premier platforms that people will be able to utilize.
For sure. I mean, it's always very confusing on how you actually entitle the land and get through all the permitting and get the right financials to get the loan to build this thing. So I think that's when owners need the most help, especially if they don't have a lot of experience in the industry. So this definitely fits a need.
Yeah, especially too. And one of the first things I always look at too is software. How am I going to run my park? How am I going to do my booking? Yeah. So right now I just typed in, as you can see, I just typed in software, and it brings up everything that has the word software in it. So right there's RoverPass. So I click right on your site there. Of course, you're going to have some other competitors out there, but it's always nice to be able to go to one place to find all of them there. So here's your landing page, which is really cool. And one thing I meant to tell Melissa too is one thing you can add on here that I just added recently is a URL. If you have like an infomercial, so if you have like say a video out there on YouTube that's just like a 30-second or a minute long video, you can actually have it embedded right here on the page. So, so I'll probably need to tell Melissa that. Is she going to be at Ojai this year?
Yeah, she will be. Yeah, the whole squad will be at Ojai.
Nice.
We've got like 6 or 7 people coming.
Oh, that's going to be great. Yeah, it'd be good to see all you guys. So yeah, I'll be there too. I don't have a booth though. I'm doing something different where I actually I'll be in the little activities area that's right on the expo floor.
Okay.
So I show campground owners how they can bring smartphone trivia and bingo to their parks. So it's really a lot of fun.
Okay.
I showed it. I just did it in. I was at Campground Owners of New York, Coney, this week, and I just got back on Wednesday. And it's really cool how you can show the campground owners how they can bring trivia and stuff. So where I'm going with this is I'll have a little bit of free time and walk around and talk to everybody at their booths rather than me having to sit at the booth myself. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great. So we'll get that video embedded on there, but. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal behind this. Like you said, is just a one-stop spot to be able to go and find some information about RoverPass. And you have all your information up here. They can call you directly. They can send you an email. They can actually send you a direct message if they didn't want to have their email associated yet. They can send you a direct message where you're talking right through the site when you log in. This little review, I've said this a few times in some of the podcasts out there, is even though it has a review here, I'm not considering this a review site. Basically, what I'm looking at as a review here is if they had an interaction, say, with you or somebody through the site. Like if they said, oh, yeah, I talked to RoverPass through Supplier Spot. They got back to me quickly and easily. One of the goals I'm trying not to let happen is if they just hate RoverPass for whatever reason, that they're finding all platforms to go on, just blast them out there about don't use them, they're this and they're that. And I don't think that would ever happen with you guys, but I'm not going to allow that on this site because there's Google out there that you can do for that or something like
Yeah.
that. But I've never heard anybody say that about RoverPass. So just saying that. So yeah, but that's your little site. So let's talk about RoverPass now. Let's talk about how did RoverPass get started. You're one of the founders. I love to hear these stories. I'll jump over to your website now so we can look at that while you're talking.
Yeah. So RoverPass was an idea, I think, in 2014. I was in an RV driving to Burning Man in my mid to late 20s,
Okay.
and we were trying to find a campground, and I candidly didn't have that much experience in the camping industry at that time.
Yeah.
And this is maybe the second time I'd ever really been in an RV. And we were trying to find a campground, and we were calling. I mean, I think it was like around 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening. We were calling, trying to find one, and nobody was picking up their phone. And we were like, why is this so hard to book a campsite? Like, it should be a little easier.
Yeah.
And we ended up just parking in the Walmart parking lot because I guess we were, I don't know, we Googled something and realized, oh, Walmart kind of lets you park for free, but sometimes they don't and sometimes they do. And we are just like, all right, well, I guess we'll just risk it.
Yep.
And so that's kind of the genesis of the idea. Originally, we started off, um, the discount club model is pretty prevalent, hence the name RoverPass. And over time, we realized, man, we really got to take this to kind of to the next level beyond just discount clubs. And so we started working on, initially we built out a request-based system.
Okay.
And we still have that today, although it's not as prevalent anymore these days. Most people are using the full reservation platform. The request-based system is more of like a light RoverPass light version. We
Okay.
call it the RRS. Whereas the reservation system is more like the full blown central res platform
Okay.
that we've got. So I would say we started working on that in about 2017 or so. After a couple, like, we tried one thing and we tried another thing and then we tried another thing, and finally we were like, okay, this is the thing that we're gonna do, and we went all in on it, and what do you know, it worked. And so yeah, back in, I guess, 2017 we started building it. We brought it to market in about 2018, and then 2019 we were going, and then COVID happened, and
Yeah.
that was a crazy year. 2020, I remember just like looking at on my phone. Obviously, your phone's like this like vertical
Yep.
device, and I'm like looking at our charts, and I'm like, oh no, everything's like this. Then
Yep.
like 2 weeks later, everything's like this.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my god, what is happening right now? This is crazy. So luckily, camping was one of those markets that somehow benefited from COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of I guess how we got started. And now we're probably about 40 people all around the world
Okay.
working with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's RoverPass.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I see a lot of the people here that part of your team. So that's awesome. So RoverPass, I was going to ask that question, where the name come from. So all right.
Yeah, RoverPass. That
Yeah.
was the original concept of it. And I think still one day we will eventually launch a pass again
Okay.
to stay true to the name, but not quite yet.
Okay. Well, what are like some of the main features that you guys are working on? I don't know if you're working on new features coming out right now, but do you have like integrations coming up? Any features that campground owners
Yeah,
want to know
yeah.
about?
I think for us, 2023 was all about integrations with OTAs.
Okay.
So we've pretty much got integrations with essentially every OTA that's in the market: Spot Tonight, HipCamp, Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, and anybody else that would want to integrate with us, we'd love to. Kind of in our eyes, the more places our customers' inventory can be, the better, right?
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
more eyeballs means more revenue for them. So we've sort of built our model around that. And then in terms of like big features that we're rolling out right now, we're rolling out a housekeeping module. We are finishing up group bookings. We just rolled out ACH payments.
Cool.
We spent a good part of this year rolling out more long-term functionality for parks that are a little bit more month-to-month type rentals, as opposed to like your short-term stays.
Yeah.
As far as 2025's roadmap goes, that is still a TBD.
Yep.
We're still internally debating what we focus on, but there's going to be quite a bit of new features coming out. Just need to kind of nail it down and get some alignment across the management team as to what it is that we want to focus on. We may make some improvements to our marketplace, or some more improvements to our reservation system. So yeah, unsure at the moment, but probably in about a month we'll know.
Well, that's cool. That's awesome. I know I was just looking at as you were talking, going through the point of sale system. I know that was a big one when I was talking to campground owners out there, is they want like an all-in-one platform. They want the same software that will do all their management and their reservation bookings, but also have a point of sale system involved as well, that people can just use the whole platform for one place.
Yeah, one-stop shop for everything.
Yep.
And actually, I didn't even mention this. Zapier is one that we're pretty excited about. So, I don't know how prevalent Zapier is in our industry, but from a technology industry perspective, just broader technology industry, we use Zapier for like everything, internal operations, all kinds of stuff. But Zapier is basically this user interface for connecting softwares together. And it makes it super easy to move data from one place to another. So for example, I think a great use case is like a HubSpot or ActiveCampaign or any sort of CRM that a property may be using. Whenever a booking is made in RoverPass, we can just pipe that data wherever you want it to go, whether that's MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or HubSpot or Salesforce. There's a dozen CRMs out there that Zapier integrates with, but like name, email, phone number, rig type, any data that's available in RoverPass, we can push it into whichever platform you want it to go to. So kind of our approach there, I think, is a little unique in that we could build integrations one by one with every provider and do that, but kind of the thought is, why do that when Zapier has already done that for you? And so our thought was, let's integrate into Zapier. And now campgrounds have access to be able to push data into 7,000 different applications. Any which way you want to do it, they can do it. And we're adding different triggers. So like the way Zapier works is that you create triggers. So the trigger is like, I don't know, you get a new booking on RoverPass, right? And then from that trigger, you can set up workflows that do, okay, we get a new booking. Let's send a text message. Let's send an email. Let's move this data into our CRM. And so we've got, I think, about 10 or so different triggers right now, and we're adding more just as campground owners come to us and come up with creative ideas as to what they would want to cause that action to push the data. And so, yeah, we're pretty pumped about this. I think we are, as of right now, the only ones in the industry with the Zapier integration.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm sure other people will add it eventually, but we're pretty excited about it. You don't need to code; it's super simple to use, and so we're pumped to introduce that into the market.
Yeah, that's cool. I use Asana for all my project management tools. So yeah, I use Zapier as well. So yeah, Zapier is a really cool tool that you can use to, like you said, push all that data easily. So
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Yeah, you use Asana. So just another cool use case would be push all the day's check-ins into Asana. So then when your management team is looking at the daily check-ins, you can like check off each person as they check in.
Yeah.
And there could be like a check-in checklist that is in Asana. So there's just, it's an endless world of possibilities of what you can create through that integration. So we're
Yeah.
pretty excited about it. We are also planning on rolling out a bunch of content around it as to like what are like good use cases for how you would use this integration, just to kind of educate and show people how to actually use this thing and like cool ideas on how to use it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I see here also you have like generate more revenue and list my campgrounds. So people who have their campgrounds, they can actually list them here on your marketplace.
Yeah, so RoverPass is sort of twofold. So we are a reservation system,
Okay.
first and foremost, and then we're also a marketplace. So our website gets a ton of traffic of campers looking for campsites,
Okay.
and so most campgrounds are already listed in the United States, but obviously there's new campgrounds that we may have missed. If you haven't already claimed your listing, you should definitely claim your listing and update it with like pictures and images and a description. But the idea here is that we're giving you exposure. The properties that use us for their bookings become bookable through the marketplace. All the other ones are just have a listing. And our algorithm, obviously, if you're a RoverPass customer and you're using us, is going to favor the ones that are actually RoverPass customers and bookable. Um, so yeah, definitely reach out and use us as a lead generation source. If you're not using us for a full reservation system, you can at least use us as a lead generation source
Yeah.
to get more customers that are viewing our site and looking for information about your campground.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I notice here too. You have like a little list here of stuff that you guys do. So you do website building as well. So if I was a campground owner and didn't have a website, you guys would build me one.
Yeah, so we've got two products on that front. So we've got a standard website that's pretty basic. Um, and then we've got a premium website that is a little bit more customized. So they're both made out of templates, but the premium website has just more functionality to be able to adjust the template. If you Google real quick, like Papa Chubby's, that's one of the campgrounds that I believe is on
Papa
Papa
Chubby
Chubby's. Yeah.
Campground,
Yep.
Lake Resort. Is that the one? Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
Lakeside
I
Resort.
think you're on a different screen, but
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna bring it up first. So.
that would be, yep, this is an example of one of our premium websites.
Okay.
We build it in a platform called Webflow.
Okay.
Um, and so they're really beautiful websites, really great for travel and tourism focused businesses, outdoor recreation. And so you can work with our team to build this out for you.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yep. I see they're on RoverPass. So
Yeah, yeah.
I know, just saying that because you built the website. But, okay. Yeah. So then whenever I clicked on that book now, it took me over to this screen where you do the whole booking process.
Yep. And
Okay.
this is a beautiful property. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just in the Lake of the Ozarks, just picturesque, beautiful.
Yeah. It looks cool. Yeah. I could tell. That's awesome. And then I noticed here too, you have reports and analytics. I know that's a big thing too with campground owners. They want to be able to pull up customized reports. So is your reporting system pretty good on RoverPass?
Yeah, so we have a couple data focused people on our team. So we've got Esteban, who's kind of our data engineer, uh, ETL data pipeline creator. I call him a data. I mean, he really is a data scientist. That's
Mm-hmm.
his formal role. But he is working to build out all the reports that campground owners use, and we do a fair bit of customization on our reports. We get feedback all the time about, hey, can you add this field, or can you add this field, or can you calculate it this way, or can you show us this data? So we're very open to, if we're missing a report, we'll make it for you. I mean, at this point, we have a ton of reports. And so usually everything you need is there.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's something that you want to see in a certain way and we may not have it. So we'll go ahead and build that for you. We don't charge really anything to be able to do that unless it's like a totally custom report that nobody else can use across the RoverPass customer base. But that's pretty unlikely. Anything that one campground owner needs, probably another campground owner would need as well.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I look at too, is a lot of times you build a product. And I was talking to you about this before we started recording with Supplier Spot, is as you continue working with customers and people, they help you get ideas like, oh, didn't even think about that. I know if you
totally.
thought about it, somebody else will too. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's how we built our whole product, right? It's just listening to what our customers tell us they want, and then we say, "All right, cool, perfect." Like 10 customers said they want this, so now let's definitely build it. And as I alluded earlier, that's the debate right now. At the end of the year, we always set our product roadmap, and so there's some internal debating going on as to what those features are going to be for next year.
yeah. Yeah, I know that's hard. As you know, and I told you earlier, I worked for a software company before I started Supplier Spot, and we went through the same thing. A lot of what I heard people wanted, it was like, okay, how do you weigh what gets first on the roadmap? So, but yeah, you figure it out eventually, and continue building on the project or building on the product to make it a good platform for everybody to use. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's
yeah,
always a balancing act, right? You unfortunately have a finite amount of development resources, so you can't build everything. So you just have to pick and choose, and there's obviously trade-offs to everything. So
yeah, exactly. So, well, cool. That's awesome. So, Ravi, I think that's a lot of what we wanted to learn about. So, I know I learned some new stuff. So, you already said you got some cool features getting ready to come out for the next year or so. You're gonna put your roadmap together. So,
hopefully by the end of this month, we've released most everything that we were planning on.
great.
Or I guess end of this month. Today is the first, so yeah.
Yeah, crazy
So
already.
yeah, end of this month would be it, and then December we sort of kind of go into a little bit of a hibernation mode, and
Yeah.
staff sort of get some time off, things like
Hmm.
that. We wind down for the holidays. Obviously,
Yep.
support stays open, of
Yep.
course,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Yeah, no, that sounds great. So, just for everybody out there, again, this is Ravi with RoverPass, and the easiest way I can tell people right now is, of course, for Supplier Spot. If you go to supplierspot.com, you can just type in RoverPass. All of their information's here: phone number, email, direct messaging, websites, social media links. Everything's on here. The website, though, is roverpass.com. So you guys can always check them out. And Ravi, I'm pretty sure they can get a hold of you or anybody on your team by just going to your website.
yeah, of
But I
course,
believe this email here goes to Melissa, so she can sure direct whoever she needs to the right people, right?
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Cool.
She'll get you routed in.
Great. Well, thanks again for being on here. I'll stop sharing the screen, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day today. And tell everybody at your staff. And look forward to seeing everybody next week at Ojai. And thanks again for being on.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
All right.
We'll have to hang out. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Supplier Spot Spotlight. Keep shining bright in the RV, park, and campground outdoor hospitality industry. Stay tuned for more illuminating conversations with industry experts. Until next time, enjoy the great outdoors.